Hello, this is Nalan Yazgan'ın. Today we have a special interview with the spokesperson of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, spokesperson Andrea Tenenti, joining us from Beirut. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us here in Harici'ye, Mr. Tenenti. I would like to start with reminding our viewers what the UNIFIL mandate is. First, according to the United Nations Security Council resolutions date back in 1978, UNIFIL was established to confirm the withdrawal of Israeli forces from southern Lebanon, restore international peace and security, assist the government of Lebanon in ensuring the return of its effective authority in the area. Over the past week, Israel has repeatedly targeted UNIFIL positions in southern Lebanon. IDF has asked UNIFIL troops to leave their positions, and there have been shelling going on, and you're caught between Hezbollah and the IDF forces. And IDF has directly and deliberately targeted your observation towers and troops. Despite all this, you have not abandoned your positions. Is the security and the safety of the UNIFIL soldiers at risk in Lebanon?
Well, the security and safety of UNIFIL peacekeepers is our main priority. It's a paramount priority, and it should be also for the parties, for the fighting parties. And in these days, we have not seen that because we have been attacked, targeted several times, and in these days by the Israeli Defense Forces. Even last night, or actually yesterday morning, one of our positions close to the blue line was also targeted. Cameras were destroyed inside close to one of the main towers of the position. Last week, another tower was hit by a Merkava tank and 2 peacekeepers were injured. 2 other bases were also hit by IDF, where they targeted the cameras again and the illumination system. And on Sunday early morning, IDF troops entered with the Merkava tank inside one of our positions in Harici'ye, close to the blue line, and they stayed there for 45 minutes. So there are several instances and serious instances where peacekeepers' security was put in danger, and that's of course is unacceptable. It is a violation of Resolution 1701, and it's also a violation of international humanitarian law.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has demanded UNIFIL mission to leave their positions and even reached out to the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to get the UNIFIL mission out of Lebanon, or out of harm's way. That was his exact words. Does Guterres have the authority to order the withdrawal of the UNIFIL troops, or does the UN Security Council need to convene and pass a resolution for that?
Well, at the moment, the decision was taken that UNIFIL is staying, so that's what we're doing at the moment. Of course, if the situation becomes impossible for the mission to operate, or there are no more the conditions to operate in safety and security in the south of Lebanon, the Security Council will need to decide how to move forward. If there is a need for the mission to stay, amending the mission's mandate. In 2006, during the 34 days of conflict between Hezbollah and Israel, the mission stayed. The mandate changed. Of course, there was a cessation of hostilities, and we had a different mandate with more troops coming to the south of Lebanon. And there was the establishment, the adoption of Resolution 1701. But Resolution 1701 was the same resolution that stopped the conflict in 2006. And the main element of 1701 are still valid today. The main provisions are still valid. And these are the elements that could potentially stop the conflict right now. What we need is the commitment of the parties and to find a political and diplomatic solutions right now.
So do you actually believe that the UN Resolution 1701 can still be implemented and both parties would be satisfied with that?
Both parties have repeatedly mentioned the importance of the implementation of 1701. Of course, both sides are seeing 1701 in a different way, but the implementation of 1701 is key. The implementation is not up to the mission. We are here to support the implementation of the mission's mandate, but you need the commitment of the parties. You need the commitment not in words only, but in actions. So is it possible? If the Security Council then and the international community thinks that there is a need also to do amendments to 1701, will be up to the 50 members of the Security Council to decide, of course, in coordination with the the troop contributing countries of UNIFIL. At the moment, there are 50 countries and over 10,000 troops. But that's could be the decision, but again, it's not up to the mission, but the Security Council in New York.
Mm-hmm. So your role there is to implement it, help to implement it, not to decide, of course.
To support the implementation of the mandate.
Yes. And well, you know, there have been a lot of difficulties for UNIFIL to be able to fulfill its mandate and patrolling of the area since the incursions started into Lebanon from Israel. Have you been able to monitor where and to what extent these incursions have been into Lebanon?
We have been able to have very partial monitoring capabilities because of the security situation that does not allow us to stay outside our position, or for very short time during logistical movements. But we have definitely been monitoring sporadic entrance and incursions inside Lebanese territory, which is a violation of Lebanese sovereignty. The presence, of course, of IDF troops close to the blue line. And they also were very close to our position where the Irish and Polish contingent was in Marun al-Ras, the other day with the Ghanaian position in the Harici'ye. So these incursions are ongoing. Again, our monitoring capabilities are very limited, but anything that we are monitoring, we report it faithfully and transparently to the Security Council.
Why does Israel want UNIFIL forces to leave their positions, and why are you holding on to your positions even in this very dangerous situation? What might happen if you leave?
Well, we have to ask the Israeli authorities why they asking the mission to leave. They have been saying for our security, but we are there to monitor, and monitoring is important. And it's important for both sides to be able to have an impartial monitoring capabilities. And just imagine, as you said, if all of a sudden in the south of Lebanon would not have any international presence, any impartial organization that could report to the international community. 10,000 peacekeepers now, and all of a sudden no one. So that would be a very dangerous development of the situation. And that's why it was important to stay, but also because we have a mandate that was given to us by the Security Council and by the international community. So we cannot have one country dictating the fate of a mission.
The municipality of Nabatea was bombed during a meeting where the mayor and the other officials of the municipality were trying to figure out how to provide the needed aid for the people who are still in the area, because some people were not able to leave and they remain in the area. And there are thousands of people who are stuck in villages in southern Lebanon without food or water or electricity. And if UNIFIL troops leave, or if they're not able to perform their duties, such as, you know, delivering aid, what's going to happen to these people who are still in the area and can't leave? Is there anything in plan or in place?
No, and that's why it's important for the mission to stay. You know, we do not. UNIFIL doesn't have a humanitarian mandate, but we have been providing assistance to local communities for a very long time. And what we're doing now is to notify the parties of movement of humanitarian convoys. The assistance is given by UNICEF, OCHA, UNHCR, and other UN humanitarian agencies, and also international NGOs. And that's what we've been doing in this day, to notify, to try to deconflict situation, to mitigate the risk. But it's been very challenging because most of the times we have not been receiving responses in terms of guaranteeing the safety of our peacekeepers or the safety of humanitarian convoys. So there has been some humanitarian assistance given in recent days. I think a couple of days ago in Marjayun, with 22 trucks of humanitarian aids done by NGO called SHIELD and UNHCR. So we were able to do that and coordinated activities, but there is still a lot that needs to be done because there are still thousands of people there. More than 350,000 people left the south of Lebanon, but there are still thousands that are still in need of assistance.
Can military solutions bring safety or security to either side of the blue line? Would de-escalation by escalation work in the region?
Military solution is not a solution. A military solution is a short-sighted solution. It doesn't have short-term. It's just a short-term solution that would not bring a long-lasting peace and stability. We have been advocating from the very beginning just a political and diplomatic solution, because this conflict has been going on for 12 months across the blue line between Hezbollah and Israel, but also in the region, and can develop, can turn into a regional conflict with devastating consequences for everyone. So it's important for everyone in the international community, main stakeholders, to see this as a priority that needs to be solved after 12 months of intense fighting, conflicts, hostilities. Thousands of people have been killed and destructions all around the region. So it is to stop, but it only requires a political and diplomatic solution.
Well, thank you, Mr. Tenenti. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today. Today, our guest was the spokesperson for the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, Andrea Tenenti, and a dear friend of mine. And thank you, Mr. Tenenti.
Thank you very much. Thank you.